All right, everyone. Oh, can you hear me? All right, we're good. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us for our April Finance and Administration Committee. Call this meeting to order. We're going to play a little agenda switcheroo. First, we are going to hear from the airport for a joint resolution authorizing property purchase. Come on down. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. If I could pull up my slides real quick.
We are getting them as you speak.
Mr. Chair, if it'd be okay if I could introduce Frank Miller,
Yeah,
our
please
interim
do.
directly in this time.
Yeah.
So Frank Miller is a very accomplished, very seasoned, very experienced airport director who's worked at about 5 facilities, recently retired from the Burbank, California airport. Before that, he was in San Antonio. Before that, he was in Florida. He has a significant amount of experience. For those of you who are Washingtonians, he is a Tacoma resident and a PLU grad, so go Lutz. But Frank was appointed by the board as our interim CEO following Mr. Crowder's departure for Cincinnati. And Frank, did you want to just say a few words?
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon, and pleased to be here. So you have a face with the name. As Todd said, I did grow up in Tacoma. I did go to PLU. I found that to be very important when I talked with Congressman Rick Larsen, who also went to PLU. So there's that connection. But I actually retired from Burbank in January, and this opportunity came up, and it was perfect. It's a nice transition in retirement. I've been to Spokane a lot. My wife has family in Spokane. Her father was raised in Northport, so it's a very convenient 5-hour drive back to the Seattle area where we have a home. And I'm just glad to be here, and I am pleased to report that the airport is moving along quite nicely. There's a very strong staff there, and we continue to move forward with a lot of the projects. And so with that, I don't want to take up all of your time. I will turn it over to Todd.
I'll just have to jump in really quickly. Being on the airport board, we were very fortunate to have Mr. Miller step up. It was quite a process to find an interim CEO, and we are so glad that you're here to help shepherd us through this transition time. So we really look forward to working with you for however long that will be. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Todd. How did you send those slides? I'm not seeing them in the folder.
Yeah, sorry. I sent it to Jacoby last week. If you want to, I can resend it to you.
Sure, that would be great. If you want to just do
Or
the
can I
presentation.
just, would you prefer I could just, in the interest of time in your agenda, I can go over and describe it to you if
Yeah.
you would like. And then at next week's full briefing to the council, we'll have the slides and be ready to go. Would that be acceptable to the
That
council?
sounds perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah,
All
thank you,
right.
Todd.
Not a problem. So this is a 1.62 acres of land owned by Mrs. Parker, located at 5410 South Hayford Road. So it's just on the west side of Hayford, just south of Thorpe. It's in our ACZ 3, and it's also part of our noise issue with the 65 decibels. And it's also on our airport layout plan as approved for purchase in the future. Mrs. Parker approached us, like the vast majority of landowners do. They'll approach us and we'll ask if we'd like to acquire their property. We go through an MAI appraisal, which this was done. It came back at $199,000, about $4 a square foot. For the residents, there's a couple of outbuildings sitting on 1.62 acres of land. The funding would come from airport general revenues, and again, the FAA it's already been previously purchased. We've also acquired another property you might remember about 9 months ago. We came in for Mrs. Atchison, and we acquired her property in a very, very similar manner. Yes, Mr. Sabone. Oh, I'm sorry, saw the green light. Sorry. Are there any questions?
Is there any purpose for this land right now, or is it just something we're acquiring in a certain area? What is the?
It's in it's in an area that's not compatible for land use. It's not compatible for residential. It was built, our parallel runway is just to the west of it. Our primary runway, it influences the ACZs for it. So it's land that we are programmed to acquire as it becomes available over time. It's zone light industrial. There could be maybe at a future time another use for it, but just not residential.
Great. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much, Todd.
Cool. Thank you very much.
All right, and we'll note that we have Councilmember Klitzky joining us online. Okay, next up, interlocal agreement for a collection regional effort. Don Kinder.
Good afternoon, Council. I am here today to do our briefing on the interlocal agreement between the City of Spokane, Spokane County, and the City of Spokane Valley around the homelessness efforts. Some of you have participated over the last, well, certainly prior to the Brown administration, but also during the Brown administration, some regional discussions about how we tackle homelessness collectively and collaboratively whenever possible. So we've taken that feedback and turned it into what we hope to be an exciting interlocal agreement that directs the county, the valley, and the City of Spokane staff to partner more intentionally and more strategically to try and address the homelessness crisis. So we'll do, I've got a few slides here for you today that kind of summarize the key areas of collaboration, and then kind of a list at the end that's just all the standard clause language that is in there, but you do have a copy of the full ILA in your packet today. You can go ahead. So the kind of general reasons why we are working on this, one is that we've kind of agreed that there's a regional, an importance of regional collaboration that's in the public's best interest to be strategic in our alignment of funds and priorities, and also that the COC, by nature of its existence, is facilitating the 5-year plan to end homelessness. How can we kind of merge these efforts so that there is not only the funders' priorities that we have to follow, but also local priorities that we can embed within that? You can advance, Jenny. So as you heard last week when Ariel, or maybe 2 weeks ago, when Ariel Anderson briefed the 5-year plan to end homelessness, these are the 5 objectives from that plan. These are set by the state, and then that 5-year plan is what creates the local measurements and actions in relationship to those overarching state objectives. The ILA does directly link to that 5-year plan to end homelessness, so I just wanted to provide a refresher of those objectives to promote an equitable and accountable system, prioritize those with the greatest need. That is within a subpopulation that folks are prioritized, not across the full system, but by subpopulation. To prevent homelessness whenever possible, to house folks in the most appropriate setting, and then lastly, to strengthen and address the needs of the workforce in that system. So I tried to underline for you, I put the full language in the PowerPoint because I didn't want to mix my own words with the legal language that we'd all agreed upon, but tried to underline for you all kind of the key sentiment from each of the points. This is within, I believe, Section 4 in the ILA, which is the joint responsibilities of the various jurisdictions. So A is around coordination, planning, outreach, and development related to the homelessness strategic plan and goals. B is around the RCWs that are connected to state funding that we all have to be connected to. That looks like our document recording fees, but continued approval and updating of those. C is to maintain and update the respective housing inventory count, which we refer to as the HIC, which is another federally required report that we submit on an annual basis that is also required by the state. But this is a really key report for our community that we need better regional collaboration on. It has not been an easy process over the years, and this really brings us all to the table on the HIC count, which comes after the point in time count. D is to actually coordinate around inclement weather, including cooling, warming, and clean air. That's the first time that we're memorializing a regional collaboration around inclement weather. E is the point in time count, which you are all very familiar with. But again, collaboration and methodology around determining an appropriateness of count and time. You can advance. This one's very long, but it's basically the process of distributing funds, grants, and awarding, not in terms of who we fund, but in terms of the regional needs, priorities, streamlining documents. A lot of the feedback that we've heard in those regional roundtables is that currently each jurisdiction has a different billing sheet, a different application process, a different contract template, and it's very confusing for our providers to navigate that when they're getting funds from various jurisdictions. So really collaborating to minimize our differences where possible and becoming more efficient for providers. This also talks about minimum qualifications, the evaluation of performance of both future contracts but also current projects, so that we can look at how do we collectively hold contracts accountable to meeting the expectations in that contract. The second one on this sheet talks about the performance of funded projects, partially through data. One thing I did not include here, but you would see at number 3 in the ILA, is our data requirement portion, which does directly connect to our data share agreements that do already exist between the city of Spokane and the county, the city of Spokane and the valley, as well as the Spokane Regional Health District, who hosts all of our data dashboards. Those data dashboards, those agreements, talk about all the very detailed legalese, the types of data, the requirements, the timelines, the reporting. B on this slide is also talking about how we continue to use that data to hold projects accountable to the performance metrics within them. The next one on there is to just updating each other on how that work is going, as well as our local advisory boards and committees. Another piece around how we collect data from providers, and then the last piece on here is a compliance component with the RCW around prioritization. The duration of the ILA is 5 years, so it will start once it's been fully executed by all 3 jurisdictions involved, and then it will time out on the 5-year timeline that the 5-year plan to prevent and end homelessness runs on, which kind of creates a natural checkpoint to revisit the ILA, compare it against the upcoming plan that's coming forward, and make any adjustments we need to. Certainly, we can amend and revisit it throughout those 5 years, but we would set a sunset at 5 years that we're running on the same clock as that broader 5-year plan. And I think that might be, go ahead, Jenny, the last. Oh, and then this is all, you've all seen these things a million times. This is all the other standard contract language that's in the ILA that the legal departments from each jurisdiction have reviewed the ILA in many, many formats. This is just the standard clauses that would exist in any other contract, also included in this ILA. But happy to take questions. I know that was very fast.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess what isn't happening now for lack of this agreement, and what will change when the agreement's in place?
So part of why we moved towards an ILA was actually a comment that Councilmember Bingle had made at a regional roundtable several months ago, noting that currently we've got really strong relationships at the staff level between the county and the valley and the city, but should one of those individuals leave, would that collaboration continue? And I think it was a really valid point to bring up. So our intent with this was to say, here's everything that we are doing, and we want to memorialize that so that if there is turnover, the collaboration does not stop itself simply because there's new people at the table. So it's really intended to give a tool to the electeds at each jurisdiction to hold staff accountable and prevent that from stopping should somebody vacate their current position, so that it's not relationship driven, but actually project driven.
But theoretically, with the 60-day termination, even if there is a change, I mean, the agreement could be ended, correct?
Sure, any jurisdiction could move to cancel their participation in the ILA, absolutely.
Okay. I have a few suggested edits that I've submitted to Chris, and I'm just wondering what would be the process for at least trying to include those in the contract.
We would need to route those to the county and the valley, obviously, have their legal teams review, so it would delay for an unknown amount of time, kind of moving forward until we had agreement again.
Well, and I found out Thursday that there was a meeting Friday that I was not included in, so I would have happily brought those then had the opportunity arisen. But without it, I obviously had nowhere to bring the edits, so I'll try to put them forward any way I can so they can be considered.
And that was a meeting scheduled by the county that Councilmember Bingle and Zappone did attend. We did let them know at that meeting that there was a suggestion Chris Wright had brought forward a week or so ago as a potential add as well. So we are open to that. It would just be a part of our struggle at the staff level is just trying to get through legal at each jurisdiction and through each different jurisdiction's process and trying to stay as coordinated as possible while also being responsive to the different kinds of feedback.
Okay.
So, Don, just for clarity, this interlocal agreement does not commit any funding.
Correct.
At any level.
No.
From the city, so that, wanted to make clear on that. And also, really, this is an administrative interlocal agreement. Really, council has no, you would like our blessings, I know, but really, this could be executed without input from us.
Can it? I mean, my understanding is council does need to approve the interlocal agreement. I think the intent is absolutely not to award any money, and on council from our legal is that it's not a legal way to award any funding, so there's no intent there. But we would like council support, absolutely.
We have not asked legal to weigh in on whether council does need to approve it. The preliminary assessment is that it does not have to be approved by council.
And are we on a timeline here, or is there a time frame we're trying to operate within?
Well, yes, the county, the BOCC is getting a presentation tomorrow. The Valley delayed their presentation based on the last-minute meeting that was called last week by the county. But we are trying to move forward in sync so that we can bring it to execution all in, not having one jurisdiction having signed it and then waiting 6 weeks for the next one to be able to execute. So we are trying to stay very coordinated as we move through each jurisdiction's process.
Thank you. Councilmember Beagle.
Yeah, is there any space for a council member or council representative to be in any discussions along these lines?
You mean like when the staff are meeting together? Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd be
Is
happy
that-
to
is that
invite
in the
Nicolette or
language?
whomever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that in the language, or is it just something that you would extend an invitation to us?
I'm pretty sure it does not name, it just names that regular meetings between the administrators or their designees or other representatives from each party in order to identify efficiencies. So it could be any member. So we'd be happy to invite council staff or council members when we are meeting jurisdictionally.
Awesome,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, yeah, that's one of the edits that I'm bringing, because there have been a number of these meetings already, and Nicolette hasn't been able to attend, and so I just want to make sure that that's the norm and not the exception.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever refused to include Nicolette in these meetings.
Well, but not inviting is sort of not including, so it's hard to attend something you
Well,
don't know
she,
is
yeah,
happening.
she and Ariel meet weekly, so I do think she's been aware of those conversations, but we're certainly happy to include her.
Any other questions? All right, well, thanks so much, Dawn. Really appreciate it. Okay, next up, we are going to have Caleb come on down and talk ARPA Child Care Program update. Nice to see you, Caleb.
Good afternoon, Council. On November 23rd, 2022, the City of Spokane entered into a child care contract with Community Minded Enterprises. The ARPA program distributed both retention bonuses to child care facilities for employee retention, as well as child care subsidies for Spokane City residents. After 2.5 years, this ARPA program will come to an end this month, and we have John and Wendy and team on hand to give their final update. And I will say, this program has been a pleasure to work on for the last 2.5 years, and has been both a very impactful and a very meaningful program, I think, in the City of Spokane. They have a really cool story to tell, and so I will let them tell it.
Good afternoon. I'm John Hyman, the CEO at Community Minded Enterprises. I just want to say my daughter was graduating from UPS here 2 weeks. She graduated exactly 100 years after her great-grandmother at LC. So I've got some roots here. Yeah, go Tigers. So when we wrote this, we wanted to make a lasting difference with this opportunity. So we have some muscle memory from the CARES Act, getting that money out. We want to make sure this time we captured some data, looked at our interventions, and that we also put together a professional production called Life in the Day of a Child Care Worker to try to tell the story on what that looks like. So we wanted to use these funds to have a little bit more lasting impact. We also put up a steering committee of diverse membership to help guide us through this process. So we were making sure we were capturing the needs in the community and community child care providers. And one of the things I just want to stress is that this is, as you know, this is a complex community. The child care providers often have family members involved. They have themselves, they hire, they have different shapes. So when you try to put together a mechanism to reimburse, to do staff retention, reduce some things, try to do some trainings, provide tuition, you're doing it in a kind of a broad base population, not just one, like a child care centers. And so we ran into some unintended consequences that our research will show a little bit in trying to do that. So I won't go any farther, and I'll just hand this over to Wendy.
Hello, council members. I'm Kira Bauer. I am the owner of Little Scholars Development Center and the founder of Raise Development. And I want to first start by saying thank you. Thank you for once again being a leader in showing our community regionally what it means to invest in early learning and why that is so important. And a special thank you to Council President Wilkerson and Council Members Zapone. The first time that I met with you guys, I believe the first thing that I said is, it's time to put your money where your mouth is. And I am someone that believes in advocacy, and I've worked really hard to make sure that childcare providers had access to the ARPA funding. And you guys took that from $1 million to 3.5. And one of the ways that we use this funding was through a documentary called A Day in the Life of a Child Care Provider. Oftentimes, we ask our child care providers to leave their homes, leave everything that they're going through at home, and come into the workforce and into child care centers. Sorry, my allergies are going nuts right now. To come into child care centers and be these perfect shining examples of what it means to be a human being. But we forget that our child care providers themselves are living in poverty because we know that their pay is far too low. They come in and they're dealing with the social determinants of health. They're dealing with housing. Or lack of housing, lack of food, and the list goes on and on. And so we created a documentary to really highlight and start changing that narrative around what it means to be a child care provider. Shine a light on the humanity of these people who are going through their own trauma, but still show up every single day, love on these kids, and educate them. And so here's a short clip of that documentary. We would love to invite you all to attend the screening. That is still in the planning process, but we'll be inviting you to a screening at the Magic Lantern very soon. Did we figure out how to play the clip?
No, I have no idea.
I think you might have to hit play. It's the smaller play button below. There.
Try that one. Maybe that one will work.
That's okay. So in this clip, what you would have seen is Ashlyn, who is a T2 and has been elevated to a pre-2 teacher, reading to the students and talking to them as we were in our Cat in the Hat month, and we were talking about Dr. Seuss and rhyming and going over different literacy observations. We also talked about just the need for support of early learners, and the teachers that were going through that process. We were really talking about the difficulties of being an early child care provider, but why it is so vital to them to remain in this field. On average, the other thing that we spent some of these funds on was retention bonuses and bonuses that would allow us to, retention and sign-on bonuses. And this allowed us to really kind of reach into the workforce and pull out a higher quality teacher as we were able to offer higher sign-on bonuses. And then at Little Scholars, one of the things that we did with some of this funding is that we created, everybody had an opportunity to participate and everybody received different scales of bonuses, but we created an opportunity for the teachers to really get in and show their creativity, and then allowed parents the opportunity to come in and judge and vote on the work that had been done. And it really created this sense of teamwork. And so you had preschool teachers working with toddler teachers and administrators going in and being in infant rooms and really helping out to bring the curriculum and the themes forward. And so here are some of the statistics of the people that we were able to support. I think one of the things that I really want to draw attention to is that last bullet point, and is that these funds, even though they were short-lived, it really helped us to undergird the morale and bring about a sense of team within our child care centers. And so just a heartfelt thank you. I hope that this work continues, and I look forward to having you all at our screening.
Hello. So as part of this program, we did do a research project. I'm going to let Kara tell you a little bit about the start of the research project. I wasn't there for the beginning, but let you know that those results are actually peppered throughout this presentation, and we do have a final report from EWU that we just received and we're looking over, so we'll get you that data as soon as possible.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we know in early learning is that far too often we don't have the data to support what it is we are doing and the things that we are experiencing in our classrooms and in our centers. So when I was invited to be a part of this team, one of the things that John and I had long conversations about was the need to really capture the data, to show the need for additional funding and additional investments into our centers. And so being able to partner with Eastern was a really big deal for us. And thank you to John for his leadership with that. And really being able to get in and just kind of pull apart some of those numbers. And so we did things like satisfaction surveys, having conversations with the directors and owners, and really bringing the early learning. I think that's the other thing. A lot of the times we make decisions without the people that it impacts at the table. And so being able to bring them into the conversation and really show those numbers. And so that's some of the work that Wendy will talk about.
So my name is Wendy Nelson Lloyd. I had the privilege to really dive in on the family tuition grant, and I have got part of our video project as well was for family tuition to tell some of those stories. So I want to, this is the first video I want to show. I'm hoping it works because these ones are crucial. If not, I can always bring my laptop in if it can be plugged in somewhere, because just in case, you know, technical difficulties happen to us all, and I like to be prepared.
If we're having some technical difficulties getting it to play, what I'm just going to suggest is if you can just send it after, and we'll definitely review it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So while hopefully we're working. All right, so while we're looking at that, I'm just going to let you guys know that we had 298 families that applied. And out of those 298 families, were 210 families qualified and received assistance. When we first began this project, it was 3 months of childcare tuition for 25%. We found that honestly, it just wasn't enough for the families to really make a huge impact. If you think 25% of your childcare for 3 months maybe equaled up to half of their grocery bill. So we didn't get a lot of applicants. Once the city council changed the grant funds, and so we could reallocate that elsewhere, it just absolutely blew up. We ended up being able to pay an average relief of $5,048 per family. Now what I'm going to say, we reached all 4 Spokane districts. That actually means outside of the city limits as well. I do have some data on that. Figured you'd be interested to hear that. We had, within all of the households, there were 763 people living within that 298 applications. 395 were children. 368 of those 763 were actually able to contribute to the household. The average household was 4 people per household, 2 adults, 2 children. Now, this is the one that I heard the city council is the most anxious to hear. I can tell you that for District 3, we had 100 families. District 2, we had 118. And District 1, we had 52. We also had some parents that used, 28 parents that used childcare outside of the city limits. So what that could mean is there's this little tiny area down, I believe it's by Wall and Francis, that is just outside the city limits. The average, did we get any second to play?
So I
No.
think we're just going to have to.
Okay.
We'll review it later. So we just want to keep things going.
All right, so we were able to give assistance to families in the amount of $1,050,000. And for the child care providers, round one, because we did separate those into two different rounds to see how it impacted retention and recruitment. That was part of the research grant. Round one, we had 827 staff at a little over $1 million. And then round two, we had, you can see the increase in staff members, 850, which was about $635,000. Oh, the big video. Well, hopefully you guys will be able to watch the videos because they are very impactful and tell the story well. There. And now that won't work.
Can I just add one quick piece? Sorry, I forgot to say it. One of the things that I think is really important that we point out with these funds is that a lot of the times we focus on families that would qualify for like an ECAP or Head Start or Working Connections. These funds specifically were for families who did not qualify. And I cannot stress to you enough the people that we had to convince to apply for these funds because they didn't believe that they deserved it. There is a group in our community, and they're called the working poor. These are people who don't qualify for a lot of the services that we automatically go to when we think of supporting and sustaining a family. And I just want to call out the fact that this council saw the need for that and supported the middle income families. And these are the people that were supported with these funds. And so I think that's really important to call out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So as we're having technical difficulties with that, I am just going to summarize with the impact and future directions. You know, we built a foundation for family-centered supports with this grant opportunity. We strengthened our partnership with the city and other service partners. We did have a lot of collaboration with other service partners, and we are continuing to explore sustainable funding models for continued progress. We want to thank the Spokane City Council for the opportunity to partner through this grant. Your continued support has made a real difference for local families and child care providers, and we're grateful for your commitment to strengthening our community. So we really do appreciate the opportunity, and it has been one of the most fulfilling opportunities that I think I've ever had to be able to get to know our community, to help our community, and to see an impact. So I personally want to thank you for that. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I really want to call out Caleb, who worked with the ARPA group. We were being flexible, hearing the needs from the child care providers. How could we pivot to get that money out there? Because we know it was needed and it was appreciated. So thank you, Caleb, for stepping into that. I know he was sick of us, but into that space to make that happen and working with our providers. This is one of the ARPA programs that we have directly seen the immediate impacts of the ARPA dollars that went out, that were truly invested in our employees, the workforce, in families, and in children. So thank you, Caleb, but I really want to say thank you to the providers. It is often an underappreciated work and definitely underpaid, and we were happy to partner with you on that. We look forward to what the future holds. I know there's never enough money, and we don't have any right now, so don't ask us. But as we go forward, if we can help lobby for that, please call on us. We'd be happy to do that. So thank you all.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's really exciting to see the impact that this has had. And I know it was a while ago, but I was proud to support these efforts for childcare. And thank you all for doing the work on the ground to get it out into the community. And seeing the impact is really great. So thanks for reporting that back.
I would like to say thank you for recognizing that, but you will see the impact in those videos, and I hope one of them makes you cry, because it made me cry many times.
Thank you. I just have one kind of final question. And Kira, I remember you mentioned this at one of the Priority Spokane meetings at the end of the year. Can you remind me and the folks here, what is the kind of average time for a provider at a site? Like, I mean, we talk a lot about, you know, the retention challenges, but I remember you shared that at the end of the year for Spokane specifically. Would you be able to kind of share that for everyone?
So the numbers that we received, I want to say it was the end of last year, it was about a 3-month turnover for childcare providers. So coming in, the time that they spent in their positions, and then leaving or, you know, being terminated, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Carrie, does that include, is it still the STARS training? What is the training for childcare providers?
We do have STARS training that they have to have. A lot of the times, people, especially in Spokane, they're kind of cycling through childcare centers, so they come in with that 30-hour STARS training, and then they have the 10-hour STARS training. Honestly, if I can just be open and transparent with you all, the reason we are losing teachers is the behavioral health crisis that we're going through with our students and the mental health crisis that we're in with our adults. You have, again, teachers that are in crisis. They are experiencing the social determinants of health, and then you bring them into classrooms with children who are experiencing the social determinants of health, and it becomes a trauma cycle. And it's happening in our classrooms, and teachers, they love being there and they do this work, but they burn out because the behaviors are a real thing. You have kids that are throwing chairs across the classroom and attacking other children and running out and eloping out of classrooms, and you have teachers that are trying to handle all of that and still not sure how they're going to get their next meal. And so that's work that I'm currently doing in our city that I could tell you all about it, but that's why we're losing our teachers, and then they are extremely underpaid for the work that they do.
I want to say, echo on the mental health part. The state budget just came out, and
Can you be a little closer to the mic? I apologize.
the state budget just came out, as you know, and for
Yes.
mental health consultations for child care providers, it was cut. So we lost, right now, I think we lost 2 FTEs for this region at Community Minded, working with different child care providers to work on the issues that Kyrus is talking about. So I heard there's no money. But we've got to find a way to plug that back in, because that's all like trauma-informed care issues. That's young families, young parents struggling. Kids are acting out in the child care centers. And, you know, without doing that family work, right? It's just going to continue, and the child care workers are going to run out the back door, their hair on fire, because it's just too hard, and go get a job somewhere else. So I just
Thank you.
put the plug in for that. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you all so much. Next up, we're going to hear from Matt Boston, Fire Capital SBO. Come on down, Matt.
Perfect, thank you. So this SBO is for Fire Capital, as Councilmember Dillon said. It's transferring $450,000 from Facilities Capital to Fire Capital. This is primarily, the urgency on this is primarily because of a timing issue. As you know, the roughly $2 million for Fire Capital is primarily sales tax driven within our community safety sales tax initiative. That sales tax started collecting on April 1. That means we won't start receiving that money until later in the year, 3 months in arrears, as you all probably know. We're going to be using this. The transfer, the urgency of the transfer is to have it come over and be used for critical need for PPE and hose that the fire needs replacing. So therefore, the capital that's going to be used later on is going to be primarily for the facilities itself.
When will we see more of a formal plan for those dollars? I don't know that I've seen anything yet.
Yeah. So Maggie Yates, myself, and the chiefs are meeting in, I believe it's this week, to develop a 6-year plan. I think that we have the straw man budget that we did for the biennial, and that's the starting point, and extrapolating that out in the years. We'll talk a little bit more on kind of what's going on with our sales projections, our sales tax projections as it stands right now. That's what will kind of lead into the next part of the discussion. But right-sizing what those visions are with the volatility that we're seeing is going to be important, because we don't want to overcommit.
Did I hear you were going to put it back?
No, we're just going to
We're going
be.
to transfer it, keep it, and then
Yep,
get the sales
yep,
tax too.
Yep, it's the general fund sales tax, or general fund facilities, yep.
Go ahead.
So any idea when we'll make orders on new apparatus then?
Yeah, so we have so remember, for the apparatus plan was to have utilize our SIP loan funding. You're going to see that come through in OnBase, I believe. Might be on the agenda today, correct? No. So the SIP, we're utilizing the internal SIP loans. Our internal or our external bond counsel just finalized those documents for roughly $6.8 million. That incorporates two engines and one ladder. So it's the biennial purchase. They're very expensive trucks. We're looking at lead times with fire department leadership. They're going to be going with a different vendor other than Pierce. I can't remember the specific vendor, but it's to increase the lead time so that we receive the truck sooner.
All right. I think that's all we got.
Perfect.
Thanks so much, Matt.
And is Jessica going next?
Yes, for the quarterly financial report.
Is it okay if I just give a quick prelude on Jessica's quarterly report, and just to give a quick update? So I just wrote something down, and I'm sure you're aware of a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about, but I just, in full transparency, want to communicate it with you prior to a series of reports that you're going to be hearing, the quarterly report being the first of many. While I am proud to report that through a strong fiscal discipline in 2024, we are on track to end the year with a budget to actual surplus, I want to be clear that the work is far from over. Economic headwinds are intensifying. The tariff policies are creating volatility in consumer behavior, which is increasingly evident in market sentiment and purchasing patterns. Just yesterday, the Wall Street Journal ran an article stating the unpredictability of President Trump's stop-start trade offensive is paralyzing companies on just about every front except one, taking an axe to costs. We face similar challenges as we grapple the ongoing cost pressures and struggling sales tax revenues stemming from national policy decisions. At the same time, ongoing federal cuts are putting critical grant funding for local governments at risk, threatening not only to our programs, but also to nonprofits and providers that our community relies on. As Kate recently shared an article from McKinsey, something that was stated, the Trump administration's actions at the federal level may reduce or even stop funding across a range of programs, leaving state and local governments with the dilemma of whether to continue such services or let them sunset. With many of our providers already facing cash flow challenges, the ripple effects across our region could be significant. Adding to these pressures, the Settle and Adjust bill that we just recently received from the county for jail costs totaled roughly $1.5 million in early 2025, and that was for 2024 costs. That's a 513% increase compared to the same billing last year. Meanwhile, the Criminal Justice Fund, which is supported by sales tax revenues and is currently underperforming, which previous council had chosen to add additional expenses from both the municipal court and the police department, can no longer sustain the decision to move those expenses into it. And we will be coming to you shortly with proposed solutions to address this structural imbalance. While I accepted this role, I committed to being fully transparent with you about economic health. Today, I must tell you candidly that the trends we're seeing are concerning. For the first time in nearly a decade, our January and February revenues have fallen short year over year, and as a result, we will likely need to revise our revenue projections downward, which will inevitably place additional pressure on our general fund expenses. The mayor and her executive team are already working with me to identify potential solutions. However, I want to remind you that the 2025-2026 general fund supported budgets we adopted were already extremely lean. Further reductions will not be easy and will require difficult, thoughtful decisions. These issues are compounding. Many of them have direct, immediate, and long-term impacts on the health of our general fund. My focus remains on protecting the long-term financial health and resilience of our city. We must continue to plan proactively, adapt quickly, and prioritize critical service to weather the challenges ahead. So I'm happy to take questions now. You'll hear more from Jessica on the more granular issues. But again, just wanted to be completely transparent of the issues we have. Yes.
So I guess to that end, do we now have a forecast that you can share with us?
So right now, we're looking at both January and February sales taxes that we have received. Both of those months that we have received have been roughly just shy of 2% down from 2024 revenue projections, which is incredibly alarming because especially when we look at January year over year, since 2017, we've seen an increase. Again, the behaviors that we're seeing and a lot of the data that's coming out is reduce construction costs, reduce wholesale costs, purchases, reduce purchases for wholesale, so a lot of business to business. All of those cost-saving measures that you're seeing the large Fortune 500 companies or large companies reduce from their budget is trickling down into our sales tax numbers. So while we don't have a full picture of what we're projecting, we inputted a 2% increase in sales tax year over year based on the trend that we were seeing in October, November, December. Obviously, we were going up in that time. It was a conservative approach by any means, but since January, where we started seeing some of these tariff discussions and we saw the market volatility follow suit with that, the consumer behavior has followed thereafter.
So I guess just to follow up on that, we're supposed to have an up-to-date 6-year forecast, and I would love to see that if we have it. Our budget director, Kate, has put together a pretty robust, comprehensive analysis that doesn't agree that our budget to actuals are going to be positive today or even going back a little ways. So I would like to see exactly what it is that you're basing all of the assumptions on. But a couple things. So downgrading the revenue, I think myself, perhaps some others, had argued that should have been lower. I think some of us have argued for some additional cuts that could have absolutely been considered to help round out this budget last fall. So there's a number of things where it's feeling like, okay, if we'd have just been a little bit more thoughtful in our approach, perhaps we wouldn't be here. But the other piece that I'm just wondering about is the jail costs. You said a 500 and some % increase in jail costs. How is that possible? We have an agreement with the county that is yet to be updated. It's several years old now. It should have been updated, I agree. But those costs are supposed to stay in the bounds of that agreement. And so is there something in there that allows for some inflator that I'm not aware of? Or is there a new agreement that I'm not aware of?
So you asked a lot of questions there, so I'm going to try to take one by one there. So first and foremost, the budget projections that we made in October, November, December, and finalizing in December. We worked very closely with council. We worked very closely with your budget director. While we were at first a little bit far off, I think we came very, very close to each other at the very end of it. The way that the trend was running at the tail end of 2024 was showing that there was going to be increased year-over-year trajectory. Now, granted, very, very modest increase year-over-year, but a increase at that.
Well, just to be fair, though, you worked with some of council, and you got close to what some of council wanted, but it's not a 7-0 situation, so let's just be clear on that.
Right, well, I mean, correct, yes, it wasn't a 7-0. I mean, when we were working primarily with your budget director on those discussions. And so, I mean, I agree. And then some of the budget cuts that I know that were heavy in the council's initial discussions weren't going to be impactful to the general fund. So while those could have been made, they would have helped the general fund very little in the grand scheme of things. This is our general fund impacted departments. This is police, this is fire, this is council, this is mayor's office, this is HR. This is the core functions of what the city of Spokane does. This is an ancillary enterprise funds, interfunds, all of that. So I just want us to be conscious as we are going into this exercise. We really do have to have the focus on the general fund as we're looking at those cuts, and we're looking to right-size the revenues to the expenses.
The jail question. And then
yes,
I'm
the
going to
jail,
ask
yes.
you to answer quickly. I know Councilmember Bingle has a question too, and I want to keep us moving
Yep,
and get
yep.
to Jessica.
Yeah, I apologize.
You're fine.
So very quickly, the jail cost is, we're under the exact same agreement. I don't think that there's a confine of the dollar value. There isn't a threshold. It's based on what our proportional share of bed usage is, based on what their costs are. Their costs year over year, we just had the Q1 detention meeting. Their costs year over year have been increasing. We have been arresting more people, so our bed count is up, as well as the increased costs within the jail. And that's due to collective bargaining agreements, that's due to their mental health contracts, that's due to increased capacity, a myriad of different things. And so that is our proportional share based on our head count.
So who could just get me a copy? Sorry, just real fast. Just give me a copy of the details
I can
of the
send it
bed
to you.
usage. And,
Yep.
And, okay.
Yep, I can
Thank
send you the 2024, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm going to request right now a study session on this because I feel like a lot was just said that we can't cover in 5 minutes. And it felt like maybe we sort of scapegoated the Trump administration in that speech a little bit. And not to say that the tariffs don't have an impact on us, but I think there's a much larger discussion as to why, the economic situation is what it is. All of that aside, I think I just heard you say that certain funds won't be going into a particular account used for a particular reason. Did you say that, or did I misunderstand that?
Certain funds won't go, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
For the public safety sales tax or something that we committed to using it for courts and for other stuff, and you said we're not going to be able to do that now?
You're talking about community justice
the criminal,
services.
so criminal justice sales tax. So that is, the previous councils years ago had decided to move part of PD expenses into the criminal justice sales tax, as well as some municipal court costs. Those are going to have to be incorporated back into the general fund. Remember, this is a similar exercise that we did where special revenue funds are paying for things that they can't afford. Right now, we barely have a dollar for dollar of what the jail is compared to the sales tax revenue that we're bringing in. So to add any other expenses, whether it be personnel, additional contracts, et cetera, is going to bring those funds underwater. So that decision was made when there was a surplus of funds and the jail funds were low in comparison. I think it was done actually in the COVID year of 2020 when jail costs were relatively low because our head count was relatively low, so there was an increased reserve balance there. So they put those costs in there, and now it cannot sustain. So we'll bring those back into the general fund, but saying that just compounds all of the challenges that we're having.
Yeah. Could you send me a copy of your speech as well?
Yeah,
Thank you.
you bet.
All right. Jessica, come on down. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. Okay, so yes, today I'll be going over the first quarterly financial report. This report is a variance report where we compare year-to-date budget to year-to-date actuals. It is not a projection, although it does inform them. So I do this every time because I think it's good to remember that the city uses cash accounting in the general fund throughout the year, meaning revenue and expenses are recorded only when cash is exchanged. The accounting team makes accruals. That means they attempt to link the transactions to the time period in which they occurred only during year end. So this is why periodic reporting like today can significantly differ from year end reporting. And also our estimation for year-to-date budget, because of course we budget at annual figures, not monthly figures. So we have to estimate year-to-date budget. And when we do that, we use last year's spending pattern. So if a department is spending differently than they normally do for whatever reason, projections and variances are a little harder to discern. So the quarterly report has 4 sections. On the next slide, you'll see that. The first section is going to be the general fund section. And we go over revenues, expenses, and reserves, and that's what I spend most of my time on, right? And then section 2, when you read that, is other funds. Section 3 is the CIP project status updates, so we can see everything that's happening with all of those hundreds of projects. And then section 4 is an economic briefing. So diving into section 1, we start with the general fund. This is a summarized table. And here we see year-to-date budget variance for general fund revenues and expenses. And this table indicates general fund revenue is favorable to budget by about 9.1% at the end of Q1. And general fund expense is favorable to budget by 7.6%. So that's why we give a big old green check mark. But we don't stop there, we dive deeper. So page 2 begins the deeper dive into general fund revenues. Is this next slide? Yeah, thanks. Here we look at general fund departments to see what they have collected, and so far year to date, it's 11%. So again, right, accounting only records revenue when the cash is received. So you could probably be seeing less than what you'd expect. However, 10% is typical for Q1, so this is exactly as I expect, and so that's why it's a green check mark. So cash in or revenue, it greatly differs on the timing in which we receive it. The next big influx of cash will be in May, just next month, for the first half property taxes. And then sales tax, as reminded, is always recorded 2 months in arrears. And then some of these revenues are they're not even collected until the end of the year. Okay, so because the non-departmental department receives 88% of general fund revenues, they're the general and general fund. This table shows which revenue categories are trending above last year's actuals. And unfortunately here we see that revenue is basically flat once you exclude the DSC's operating transfer in. That transfer in was budgeted and it was executed as soon as possible at the beginning of the year. But because most transfers in are done at the end of the year, like 98% of them, I exclude it for comparison's sake so we can get a true picture. So what we are seeing is flat revenue growth at the end of Q1. So the next slide dives into general fund category revenue. So here we see sales tax is underperforming compared to budget and even last year. And basically what Matt was saying was that uncertainty has gripped the market, right? And when that happens, household spending goes down. And so this is just likely to continue, so that's why it's flagged as caution. Likewise, interfund utility taxes and charges for services, they're also experiencing a similar underperformance when compared to last year. Interfund utility tax will likely need to be adjusted down, but charges for services might rebound. It actually really depends on planning and engineering services, because believe it or not, that's where we get most of that revenue, at least during Q1. So they are flagged as caution, and we are monitoring them. Page 4 begins the dive into the general fund expenses. So this time around, there are a few departments that are trending significantly under budget, which is a relief after looking at revenues, right? So police's large favorable variance appears to be driven by vacancies as base wages are under, but so is overtime. So the next time you talk to Chief Hall, you might want to ask him how he's accomplishing that. Kudos to him. But it does look like when I looked at it briefly with an accounting manager, the elimination of track has actually helped because we don't have that overtime over there anymore. Other favorable variances seem to be timing related within the general fund. Page 5 of the report gives a brief look into the fire department, which is basically operating at budget. However, there is a lot of uncertainty surrounding the department due to the in-progress L29 negotiations and dispatch. And we are very much keeping our pulse on this department. Okay, so page 6 shows what is happening in the general fund reserves. So 2024 year end, which is not finished, but most entries are completed. At this point in time, it looks like there will be a small surplus added to unappropriated fund balance. So 2024 has some retained earnings. However, the reserve balances themselves are losing traction against policy. You can see up there, our revenue stabilization is supposed to be 3.5% of revenues. It's about 2.8. Contingency reserve is supposed to be 10% of expenditures. It's about at 8. So really, we can see the difference is about $7 million, and the unappropriated is about $7 million. So something to keep track of. So basically, as is common with the Q1 analysis, it's honestly too early to tell with any sort of confidence as to what exactly is going to happen in 2025. But that being said, it is likely, and this is why Matt talked and I'm telling you now, that revenues will have to be adjusted down, which might be tolerated in 2025 because we did budget in a surplus for the 2025 budget year, but it will negatively impact 2026. Are there any questions on general fund? And then I don't have slides for the rest of the report, but the rest of the report goes quick.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Jessica.
Okay, let me finish the report. So pages 7 through 12, the other funds, that just shows revenue and expense variances. And of course, the timing of those are all across the board. The ins and outs of the revenues and their expenses. A handful of funds did undergo deeper analysis. And so far, everything is looking okay, except for Employee Benefits Fund. So I am keeping track of that. Our claims have just been higher than anticipated. Pages 13 through 19 provide the CIP project status update for the 2025 projects. And then pages 20 through 22 are economic indicators for consideration. The biggest thing I wanted to point out is page 21 shows taxable sales received for January. We're down 1.81% when compared to 2024. And February, interestingly enough, is exactly the same, down, which February is typically up because when you think about it, that's when most people get their tax refund and they buy what they need/want, but we're still showing it down. Okay, now I'm done.
All right, you think you're good? Yeah, are you ready to roll into SMC cleanup?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so this agenda item is cleanup for the section of SMC that pertains to intra-fund budget transfers. Specifically, what that section does of the SMC is it says this is when an SBO is triggered. This is the criteria in which we check against to say, yes, this needs an SBO. So we're cleaning up verbiage, and I've requested a handful of other things to reduce ambiguity and conflicting language, both in the SMC itself and with our admin policies. So this is honestly step one of me updating the admin policy for transfer of budgeted funds because it is 20 years old. So I need to update it. So that is why this was requested via Adam McDaniel.
All right, any questions for Jessica? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. All right, next up, we're gonna have a quarterly investment report from Connor Thorne. Thank you for joining us today, Connor.
Thank you, Council. So good afternoon. Today I'll be presenting the Q1 2025 results of the city's investment portfolio. And this will be, the standard quarterly overview. We will delve deeper into investments in debt in next month's budget study session. Let's see. Next slide, please.
It was sent in a different format, so I'll have to switch the
Oh.
slides for you.
Okay, let's see, can I do it? Sounds good. So topics to cover will be the usual ones. Portfolio investment balance, composition, and performance. Next slide, please. Through Q1, the portfolio sits at $310 million. Q1 saw some market rate improvements, and that increased the overall value of our fixed income investments. Cash and equivalents did go down due to standard operational disbursements, as well as Q4 being sort of overinflated as we had some investment maturities that we reinvested into cash. And the SIP internal loans remained unchanged and currently sit at about 11% of the total portfolio. Next slide, please. For composition, the main call out here is really in municipal securities. Right now, it's slightly out of compliance by a small percentage, and that's really related to investments that were made in 2022, and that overall allocation has been slightly higher, kind of hovering around the threshold. We have made some new purchases in the month of April, so we'll likely see that continue to fall and go back into compliance. And also call out too that, we will see, as, Matt alluded to, property taxes show up in May. That will increase our overall LGIP balance, recalibrating the overall composition in a favorable manner. As far as maturities and purchases, it was a pretty quiet month. We didn't have any maturities come in for Q1, thus we did not have any purchases. But I will call out that we did make a purchase here in the month of April. So we'll see some more activity to show for next quarter's presentation. Next slide. As far as liquidity goes, we're sitting in a good spot, about $193 million, or 60% of our total portfolio is set to mature within the next 2 years. And the portfolio is currently structured and aligned with the strategy set forth by the investment committee. Next slide. And performance-wise, Q1 did incur an unrealized loss of $4.4 million, which is an improvement from year-end $6.6 million loss, as those market rates have improved a bit. And interest income is currently sitting at $2.6 million year-to-date, which is slightly above budget. And next slide. Versus the benchmark, our portfolio is currently lagging a bit on maturities, portfolio maturity as well as duration, not by a large margin, but just slightly. Coupon is outperforming at 2.7%, and then yield to maturity is at 3.32, which is slightly lagging, but drastically improved since we put this structure together. And I did pull numbers from 2023 just out of curiosity, because that's the time we implemented this new structure. And numbers at that time, maturity duration, we're at 2.6 years and 2.4 respectively. So kind of drastically improved those. Coupon was at 2.1 and yield was at 2.7. So just kind of goes to show the strategy and the new structure is kind of working the way we want it to. Next slide. And regarding debt, so just to call out, just to show our debt service schedule, these are kind of our largest one-time payments that we do see within the city. And so we kind of plan accordingly as those will roll in here later this year. Any questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next up, we're going to have Allison Adams come down to talk about ordinance amendment to employee leave. Thanks for joining us today, Allison.
Excited to be here in person. So good afternoon, everyone. So this ordinance and proposal, the current SMC on leave is from April of 2007. So it's needing updated to align to the current state legislation and requirements that we have, as well as to better address the collective bargaining agreements and allow the flexibility that has already taken place with those negotiations. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Just what does state law require?
The paid sick leave law and the paid family medical leave laws, which actually require us to have at least 1 hour of paid leave for every 40 hours worked. And there's specific ways in which employees have to be allowed to use that. So we needed to update it so that it could be utilized as the law is written.
And so how has that been taking place then for the last several years without the SMC change?
And that is a great question. Of course, that when it came into being, the paid sick leave law specifically in 2018, so I can't speak to why it wasn't updated at that point, just that we recognize that they do need to be updated as they haven't been reviewed since 2007. So we have been aligning to what is required of us as an employer in the state.
So that's interesting. I remember participating on the city's sick leave task force, I guess, back in 2015 it was.
2016.
Yeah. and the city adopted its own sick leave policy. And so it's surprising to me that somehow the city could have adopted its own sick leave policy, but the SMC regarding sick leave never got updated.
So if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong because I wasn't living and working in the city of Spokane at the time, because the city of Tacoma and the city of Seattle, there were several municipalities that had passed their own requirements. I believe that you sunset that particular requirement when the state law came into place, unlike the city of Tacoma and the city of Seattle. And so when this work is doing, and what it refers to is like the RCWs, right? It's specifically laying those out and saying that it's pursuant to those requirements.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You bet. Other questions?
Yeah, thank you. Long overdue change, and appreciate you flagging this.
Sure.
All right, we'll have you now take the next item, Q2 2025 HR changes.
Yes, so this is part of what the historical quarterly review of various jobs and doing salary reviews of those job descriptions as other required by civil service, because they have made changes to and reviewed different job specs or through departments based on new needs for those departments. So they're laid out there. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I didn't have anything specifically that I needed to touch on those.
Do you know about how many positions you're looking at for this quarter?
Let's see. I think we have, I would say, between 15 to 20. Looks to be about 15.
Great. Any other questions for Allison? All right. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Appreciate it. Okay. Next up, we're going to have Steve McDonald come on down for our ILA regarding fund transfers to the Northeast PDA.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chair and members of the council. Jesse Bank and Spencer Gardner are also here, may have some of the answers that you asked that I don't know. So there are two items that we have in front of us today are both related. First, the ILA. The purpose of that ILA is to formalize a process to facilitate allocation and transfer of city funds, ensure that the city accounting can account for them, and to ensure that the funds are used for incentivizing public improvements. And related to that, the next item on the SBO goes back to 2019 when there was a strategic plan that was called that identified funding for PDAs to be used for public right-of-way improvements, stormwater, streets, et cetera. And 1.25 million at that time was allocated to the Northeast PDA. Part of that funding, or all of that 1.25 million, was aligned with a development agreement which never got off the ground. So this is what's being asked for on the SBO transfer is to have that money transferred. A portion that the city is going to hold on to, roughly 600,000, and 625 would go back to the Northeast PDA to be used for that very purpose of public right-of-way improvements. And that's as simply as I can explain it. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Well, I would just point out, too, that the other part of those dollars are what's being used as part of the Wellesley match to make sure that that project actually happens next year. So.
Yes. Any other questions?
The backup wasn't needed. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to have Rick Giddings, Department of Ecology Air Quality Grant.
Good afternoon, Council. I'm Adam Russell, in for Rick Giddings today. Fleet Services is seeking approval on a special budget ordinance that coincides with item number 9 on the consent agenda today. Purpose of this SBO is to increase revenue and appropriations, allowing Fleet Services to install 10 level 2 charging stations paid for through the Fleet Services Clean Fuel Infrastructure Fund. Do you have any questions?
Go ahead.
On the chargers going in, were those budgeted for, or was this a special one that's just some pass-through money from the state, or how's it being funded?
Yeah, so this is, we're receiving $100,000 through the grant, and then we had the money in the Clean Fuel Infrastructure Fund to pay for them. The $66,000, the match.
Wonderful. And where are they going in at?
The Water Department.
Water Department.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep, thank you.
Wonderful. All right, thank you so much. Next up, we are going to have Adam McDaniel for a couple items. So first, we'll start with SMC cleanup.
Adam, as you're coming down, I'm hoping you found something from 50 years ago. That's my hope today. No?
I don't think so. Let me see here. I think it's from probably 2015 or so. Yeah. So what it does is just fixes the titles of responsibilities when it comes to the distribution of credit cards. And this was in Chapter 0706, which is a little bit different chapter than what Jessica presented. It also corrects a typo and changes the Director of SERS to the Director of Retirement. So I appreciate the finance team for finding that and for retirement for helping out on that one. Any questions?
All right. We'll take the next item, Office of Neighborhood Services.
Yep. This is just a resolution for the appointment of Heather Hamlin, and really appreciate the council members who served on the interview committee for that. She comes to the city after 8 years as the Executive Director of Women Helping Women. And then I think she's meeting this week with some team members in ONS, and she's finishing up her term. And if all goes well, she'll start at the city on June 2nd.
Great. It's a good time to start.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, and then off-premise alcohol sales.
Good. So, yeah, so this is something we've had a conversation about quite a bit lately. Part of it came up during the alcohol impact area discussion, and it's also on the Plan Commission work plan. So what we're trying to accomplish with the interim ordinance that is before you tonight is really to address the potential public safety and health impacts of off-premises alcohol outlets around specifically public assets, so schools, parks, community centers, transit centers, and libraries. And we're trying to model this after zoning standards that already exist for marijuana-related businesses in the code. So in general, what an off-premises alcohol outlet is basically a business that sells alcohol for consumption away from the site. So it doesn't include, under this ordinance, grocery stores, hotels, pharmacies, or on-premises outlets like restaurants and bars. So real quick, some of the impacts from off-premises alcohol outlets, and this, not all of them are the same, but things like litter, criminal activity, drug activity, and of course the public health impacts as well. So right now, when an applicant comes to get a liquor license, they apply with the Liquor Control Board. The City of Spokane, through our office and through Business and Development Services, receives a notification of that application. State law provides a method for the city to object to certain licenses. They specifically call out due consideration for licenses within 500 feet of schools, parks, libraries, higher ed institutions, et cetera. And so the city has and will continue to object to licenses that we feel like there are public safety and public health impacts. But what this interim zoning policy would do is bring this decision-making authority back a little bit to the city. So right now, even if we object to a license, at the end of the day, the Liquor and Cannabis Board has the ultimate decision on that. By moving it to the front of this process to protect these public assets up front, we have the ability, and I think it's fair for the actual applicant too. They know whether or not they can site their off-premises alcohol outlet near a school or something. So what this policy would do would prohibit off-premises alcohol outlets for within 500 feet of schools, parks, libraries, transit centers, or parks. And so that includes ECAP facilities and Head Start facilities as well. Doesn't apply to grocery stores, hotels, pharmacies, supermarkets, or on-premises outlets, like I mentioned. And it protects those that exist right now within 500 feet of a school, park, et cetera, through our non-conforming standards. And so we have a request for a consideration of a substitute that fixes a couple of typos. It also reverts back to some language to focus us specifically on public assets. We have a public hearing that would be scheduled, assuming council adopts this tonight, for June 16th. And then in the interim, I would like to work with you and workshop with the Plan Commission on getting a policy that's right. The one that you'll consider tonight is just an interim as a stopgap. So we look forward to working with you guys to address the public safety and health impacts of some of these off-premises outlets while balancing the property rights of folks to have a legitimate use.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to, Councilmember Dillon and I last year were looking at a similar policy, and shout out to Councilmember Dillon, appreciate your work on that. Is there any way that we could include something like addiction or recovery centers as well? Because I think that was where the genesis of our idea came from, whereas it felt predatory to cite something like that in that area.
Yeah, I'll address that one. I think the issue that we have currently, remember, this is what's proposed as an interim. Long-term, that may be the policy direction that we want to go with. Right now, we don't have a database of where all of those places are. And from the planning side, if we get an application that comes in and we don't know where those facilities are, it's kind of hard for us to really include that in the evaluation of where these places are allowed. So I would say during the work that we do to adopt permanent changes, certainly something that we would want to consider. Just it felt like through this interim ordinance, it was probably not appropriate since we weren't sure how we would even regulate it.
Okay. I appreciate that. I would hope that we would do that. And I don't know if in the work plan we can also look at, homelessness facilities. I know that as we're shifting to a neighborhood model, that might exempt a large portion of the city. And so I don't know how expansive it can get, but just something at least as part of the conversation I would appreciate as well.
Yep, same thing applies there. I think certainly makes sense to consider, just not something that we're prepared to deal with yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would definitely concur on the shelter piece. I think that would make a ton of sense for sure. One that jumps out at me, though, that I'm wondering maybe has escaped us is looking at the definition of on-premises alcohol outlet, and it says a location that sells alcohol that will be consumed on the premises, and then it gives examples. But what about specifically a brewery that sells cans to go? That, to me, would not be covered under this, and they would be prohibited from doing that activity.
So they do not currently have off-premises licensing, so they are on-premises considered.
Even though they sell cans that you can take with you?
Correct.
Growlers, all that kind of stuff?
Correct.
Okay, so as long as we're making sure that that's fine. Okay.
And I think part of that too is that they are pouring it, they're permitting it. It's not, you're oftentimes not like a grab and go kind of situation.
Well, what I'm thinking about, they literally have a fridge full of the cans that you take and you purchase and walk out the door.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that that's not going to be captured. Okay.
And I think we talked about that when we were doing this, and I think with the person who's serving in that capacity, they have a separate qualification that they get from the Liquor Control Board. I once had one, no big deal. And so does that play into this at all?
I'm not sure if it plays in the definition, but the breweries that you're talking about do not have off-premises licenses. They're on-premise licensed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But you bring up a good point that that's something that we need to make sure that we're clarifying in the actual interim as well.
Great. Go ahead.
Well, I'll just say I'm supportive. These places are popping up right smack in the middle of neighborhoods. And really the impact that they are causing with the attraction of people who are coming and drinking and hanging out, and the trash and the potential crime that it does attract. I know last week there was a shooting up at a gas station. Not that that's exactly the thing, but it attracts that type of population. I have a young man who lives with me in my home, and he says gas stations and those little convenience stores are where drug transactions happen the most. So to really look at this over the next year, where these are located, and the city have some input on that, I think it is critical, and I think our citizens would really like us to have more input on where these go. So I look forward to this and the year interim as we really evaluate what that looks like for us.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Councilmember Bingle, for lifting that up. Yeah, really excited to see this move forward. Okay. Next up, is an ordinance that I am bringing forward related to crypto kiosks. And so this was a heavy topic of the state legislature. There was a bill that we'd put on our legislative agenda to regulate these devices, and they also similarly are increasingly popping up in Spokane and also in low-income areas. Detective Schwerin and SPD really have been leading this effort statewide and nationally, and we've gotten a lot of attention around this, and I really want to thank him for all of his efforts to educate folks. He's been going to neighborhood councils, retirement homes. We've seen a trend, sadly, of a lot of folks that are elderly who've been taken advantage of from scams, even resulting in people losing their entire life savings. It's really, really tragic. And so as the state bill was moving, it was fascinating, I think, to see a lot of a pretty large coalition behind the bill, from SPD to the AARP, Washington bankers, but it ran out of time in the Senate. One of the items that I did hear of concern was by putting a cap on how much you could deposit, that could make it more challenging to track where fraud was happening. And so this ordinance does call for the ban and removal of them in the city of Spokane. We are not the first city to do this. Stillwater, Minnesota passed a very similar ordinance last week. This has been shipped over to SPD. We are waiting on a more in-depth legal analysis, though, so I'll make sure that that gets shared out to all of council when that is completed. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is another good piece of legislation, well done. I think that you're right, a lot of people are being taken advantage of through these things, and it is something that I think a lot more cities and governments across the country will start to look at pretty seriously. I've got a buddy who works in the AG's office doing consumer protection stuff, and when I sent him this this particular ordinance, he was very impressed by us being on the leading edge of this, and so I think this is a good one for us, and I think many people in Washington and around the country will follow our lead.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions?
Another question, I totally in support. I would look forward to how we actually educate. There are still so many people who don't know what cryptocurrency is. As a regional, I mean, don't ask me the definition.
Are you admitting something, Betty?
Yeah.
That's all right.
I would be one that probably need to be educated along with that, and really looking at our regional partners, because really we could do something in the city, but if they go across to the Spokane Valley or Airway Heights or somewhere else, I think it's another regional issue that we could start with and really expand and be collaborative on.
Thank you. Okay, appreciate all that. Next up, Councilmember Cathcart, ordinance reinstating Proposition 1.
Yeah, we largely had a discussion on this last week, but obviously to try to speed up the process, that didn't happen, and so this is just going through regular order and coming to committee as a part of that process. So,
great. And just to confirm, nothing unchanged. It's just clean from what we heard last week.
It's clean. I do have to correct myself on one thing. There were a couple very minor punctuational changes that Chris made that I was not aware of, but because I think I did actually say there's not even a punctuational change, but technically there is. But no, beyond that, nothing else has been changed. He just corrected a couple punctuational errors. So.
But I will tell the council that legal has come back. They're okay with the ordinance in general, but we may renumber the new language to the code because the existing code language that was ruled unlawful or unenforceable has to stay in the code with an asterisk. So we'll probably just put this new language in underneath that with a new subsection D or something like that. But other than that, that would be the only change from legal.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Now we got reports. If you want to bring that up. right, thank you. Okay. Thanks for bringing that into focus. All right, Council Office Operations Work Group. It's myself, Council President, Councilor Cathcart. What do we talk about this week?
Mr. Jacoby come up. Give us a report.
No, we talked to, go ahead.
Yeah.
Few HR things.
Rules.
Couple HR things, rules. I will just get my presentation to you guys out of the way real fast, if you wouldn't mind, Ginny, pulling up the Jacoby slides. Part of what we talked about was honing the town hall format here on out. We got some good feedback also from their neighborhood work group with the CA around maybe doing, following suit with like what our state representatives do when they hold these town halls and take written questions in advance or on the night of, and then we are managing written questions to you all. There seemed to be a lot of support for that in the rooms that I've been floating that idea to, so I wanted to kind of get your feedback here and now around whether you thought that would be a good idea or not.
And just to clarify too, I think what they had pointed out, which I think is fine too, is to do a portion or most of with written and then maybe opening it up at the end if there's anything that maybe just didn't get touched on that people could orally ask, depending on the timing and how it's structured. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think written's okay. My biggest feedback was pacing. It felt like maybe we could take multiple questions and then respond at the end, or multiple comment and then respond, but it seemed to drag by the middle to end. And I think we saw with attendance, people leaving, that they didn't necessarily get their voice heard.
Yeah, and I think what I like about the written piece of it is that maybe I can collate, before or during, and we can kind of ask a question that's similar to you all. You have the chance to debate and discuss it, and hopefully we can kind of get through more questions or comments from folks. That's the hope.
My feedback would be maybe limit council members to take it all in and then respond.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that, and I've said this in the work group too, is just I think the benefit of this format is the ability for council to respond, since we are literally prohibited from responding otherwise. And so, if we can take a collection that are all on the same topic, okay, fine. But if it's a little bit more than that, I want to make sure that we're giving each questioner the kind of grace and due diligence and respect to answer the question. So
yeah. Some of the other things we talked about in the work group were virtual attendance from council members in meetings like this. Councilmember Klitsky is online today. We are asking for voice votes whenever possible on items. It's just kind of confusing for the record sometimes to see thumbs up, thumbs down. So we're going to try asking folks if they're able to be online to provide a voice vote. That's kind of the majority of the topics that we discussed in the work group, but just flowing into my presentation from you all. Completed this last month. We had our meeting with the county, joint meeting with the county. I spent a lot of time working with the county staff to get that, the logistics of that figured out. I liked the room that we landed on. It was really easy for Cable 5 to plug and play. We were live on the county's website, on their YouTube page. We were also live on City Cable 5 across all of our platforms. So really great room for future joint meetings like that in terms of the technology. Only concern would be if we had a lot bigger turnout in that space. Maybe it's not quite big enough to be adequate for huge, turnout in a joint session, but was happy with how the logistics of all that went. And I'm sure I'll be working with Council President on setting something up in the near future. So I wanted to give you all an update on the testimony sign-up form that I keep talking about that I'm working with Webb on. This may not look like a lot to you, but it means a lot to me because this is our existing form. Again, this is phase 1 of the rollout, kind of what we have in a Google form format, but on the website. And what we've been spending a lot of time working on is how to get those current agenda items to populate without a ton of extra work from an administrative side of things. So getting the website to speak to OnBase. And so this is the tool in the back end that is doing that work. This is going and asking OnBase for all the agenda items throughout a certain time period. It's providing me with that in this tool. And then I have the ability to open up and edit the item, which is really nice. So that's all the inputs that somebody puts into OnBase. untouched by me for this engineering contract, but I have the ability to go in and change the title, change some wording, fill in some blanks if needed, and then click that show sign up, and it will appear on the website with that information. So it's got its title and then it's got like a subheading to it. So again, this is first rollout. Long term, I would like to see those items, now that we've got them on the website, appear maybe on the committee page or appear somewhere where we can track them through time, where we can make attachments available for them. But this is kind of phase one, and I'm excited that we're at this point. This is what somebody would see after they can click on that I want to sign up for that item, provide their contact information, tell me that they've read the instructions. They'll get a page like this. It says, thank you for registering. Before we roll this out, I would like to continue to work with Web on getting this to reflect back a page that has everybody's signups public, on that web page, so somebody can really confirm that they have signed up for the item. They see themselves on the list. So my hope is to get that page to look more like a list of everybody who signed up for items. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Just a quick thought on that. Maybe people wouldn't want others to know that they're signing up beforehand. I'm not passionate about that one way or the other. But maybe instead something where it pops up where it's like, you signed up for this, and so they have like a confirmation page, like a receipt of you signed up for this. That way, if night of, they're like, hey, I signed up, here's my receipt, here's my confirmation, maybe something like that.
Okay, yeah. I'll follow up with you on that after.
Is this also looking into just signing in support or against legislation too?
Not on this first rollout, but it is definitely in the works for the future state, yes. And someplace, again, to capture that publicly so that you all can go there and reference it. So that's a quick example of some of the things that I'm working on there. Jenny, if you wouldn't mind clicking over to that Excel sheet, if it'll open for you. I've also been working with our data science intern, Chris, on creating a tool for timeline tracking for our agenda items. This is internal facing at the moment, but kind of looks like this. So I'll work with them to get it a little bit more pretty and eventually get it on our SharePoint page so that people, when they're at the time of submission, can select the committee meeting they're going to, what date that committee meeting is, what type of item they're sending to it, and it'll automatically populate your submission deadline, your earliest amendment deadline, your earliest final reading of the item, and then you can customize that and decide, no, I want to go a little later, and it'll adjust all your amendment and substitution deadlines accordingly. So another kind of internal facing tool that'll hopefully help us understand our deadlines a little bit better. And then lastly, just want to flag for you all that I have Ann McFarland coming for a training with you all. Her business is called Jurassic Parliament. The training is going to be entitled Great City Council Meetings. And after taking this workshop, I've been guaranteed participants will be able to apply the principles of the authority and role of the chair, members, and staff, follow best practices for fair and inclusive meeting discussion, make motions and amendments, deal with disorder or difficult people during meetings, run effective public comment sessions, and make better decisions for your constituency. So that's kind of the general framework for the training. It's going to be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesday, May 15th in the Central Library, Event Space A, where we previously held our budget meetings. It'll be an open public meeting because I anticipate that a quorum of you all will be there. But the training's going to be kind of more limited toward you all and Chris, and it'll be participatory. So looking forward to that. It's all on your calendars, and we will see you there.
I have to tell you, I've been a big fan of Ann McFarland. Her training is excellent. Mr. Wright and Mr. Jacoby says she has been reaching out to them. She's observed or watched some of our council meetings and some of the challenges. So she may know all of us before she gets here and some of our behaviors. So I look forward to some of the interpretations that we've been challenged with. And so has Mr. Wright, which way to go. So really, I encourage everybody to come. I think it'll be really worth your while.
Any like Jurassic Park fencing or things? Sorry, I had to do it.
I hear
had to do
she
dad
needs a
joke
table
in
for
case she's watching.
dinosaurs. So there's going to be dinosaurs involved.
All right. Thank you for entertaining that. All right, Equity Subcommittee, Councilmember Navarrete.
Yes, so CM Dillon presented on the LGBTQIA+ ordinance that we'll be voting on tonight, as well as the Bandy Address ordinance that we passed last week. And also Kate gave a presentation on equity in budgeting and the best approach to engage with officials about an equitable budget. And one last thing, I just want to bring this up. We've been receiving several messages from constituents asking if we are going to get rid of the Equity Subcommittee or the Equity and Inclusion Initiative Office. So just to inform them, we are not planning on getting rid of the Equity Subcommittee or the Equity of Inclusion Initiatives. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is needed much these days, so we're not getting rid of those.
Thank you. Language Access Work Group.
That's me. So Andres and Jacoby are looking into scheduling a joint study session between administration staff and council to get updates and define the city's language access plan. We've also reached out to departments like HR, Civil Service, and the Office of Civil Rights. We're waiting to hear back from them. And hoping to have it sometime this summer.
All right, thank you. Legislative, I think we'll hold off on this until Mr. Paulson comes on down for an update. Thumbs up. All right, sounds good. Investment Committee did not meet. SIRS.
SIRS continues to work through. We had a presentation on what it would look like for the administration to pay back the impacts on the retirement fund itself for an early retirement for a specific union group and not all of the city of Spokane. So we got a good presentation on that, and the board will be taking action on that shortly on whether we want to do a 3-year payback or a 25-year payback. Spoiler alert, I do not support the 25-year payback, but I want the 3-year payback. We need that money, so.
Sounds good. Aging and long-term care.
I'll just jump in. We will be meeting on the 16th for our last legislative steering committee after the legislative session, what's been going on there, and really start looking at what our legislative agenda will be for the 2026 session, and then our annual conference in June. So we'll be wrapping it up here with a summer break soon.
Sounds good. AWC?
AWC only meets quarterly, so they haven't met yet, but I do encourage folks to sign up for the annual conference in June. You're going? Anyone else going? Council President, I'm sure you're probably going, since it's your last board meeting.
I can say hallelujah, but it's been a great experience, great experience, great experience.
Excited for the much talked about karaoke that I hear about. Okay. Fire Pension Board, we meet May 7th, and I think that's the same for Police Pension Board.
As for the Police Pension Board.
Yep.
So no report.
Okay. Lodging Tax Advisory.
That's a subcommittee, and I don't have a report on that. Although we're looking at the World Cup and what that will be doing for our community coming up. So I think exciting times will be happening for Spokane.
Great. And then Councilmember Klitsky, I don't know if you want to give an update about the Spokane County Veterans Advisory Board.
That board only meets quarterly, so we haven't met in quite a while.
Okay. Tourism and Cultural Investment Committee Board.
That one rarely meets. TPA rarely meets. Tourism and Cultural Investment is meeting this week to score all applicants, and should hopefully have a recommendation to council. We're going to request. The applications closed earlier in the month and they couldn't meet before finance, so we'll probably request to go to a different committee so that those can get under contract before June, or in June.
Great. University District PDA.
So I will be having the University District come and actually present to us. They have had a number of consultants reviewing what's going on in that area and opportunities along with land purchase. So there is a lot happening, and I think we should hear directly from them. So coming to you soon.
Great. Same for U District Development Association.
Yeah, we have not had a meeting on S3R3, but there are some changes looking at purchase of property out there for economic development in conjunction with the airport. So more to come on that.
Sounds good. I think that was the West Plains date, but we'll take that too. Councilmember Zapone for Visit Spokane.
Yeah, Visit Zapone. Visit Zapone. Come on down.
We're renaming the city. Yeah.
Visit Spokane is moving to quarterly meetings going forward, and we're talking about new legislation that was passed that talks about creating a statewide advisory group for self-supported assessment, so similar to like a bid, but for tourism. So they're excited about that potential because Washington State is underfunding tourism promotion compared to other states. And then Visit Spokane is also getting connected with the folks that we heard about film industry. And so Commissioner Waldrop and I are going to meet with them to talk about that more.
All right, Councilmember Cathcart, Northeast PDA.
Yeah, so we heard earlier about some of the conversation regarding the strategic funds, and then we got a brief update from Tyrell Black on the comp plan progress to date. Ryan Arnold from Avista was added to the board, and then we had some pretty difficult conversations regarding our Wellesley project, just given the state of things from the CDBG grants that we applied for, as well as some state funding that we applied for, neither of which has really come to enough fruition, and so we're trying to figure out what the next steps might be for the project.
Great, thank you. All right, equity and inclusion initiatives. Did we have Alex there? He's not here today. Okay. All right, Eric Polson. Tell us all the good stuff as the legislature adjourned last night.
Well, there's a lot of good news for the city of Spokane and not much bad news, so maybe too much to go through in its entirety today, but last night after adjournment, I sent you an email with a long list of bills that passed, our funding requests. Just in general, I would say another phenomenal session. Congratulations to all of you. I mean, you made the legislative agenda pass. Also to the mayor. The mayor and our team were incredible. Our friends at AFSCME 270 played a big part. Our city staff. So just another phenomenal team effort that paid off for us. And again, lots of good bills, lots of good funding things that I'm hoping you have time to run through your email. I'm interested in any specific issues or funding areas that you have questions about or want to highlight. I mean, a lot of this agenda was really developed by you, so let me know that. I guess if one thing I would like to bring up is maybe we'll have a proper postmortem on our ledge team for how we did and ways we can improve. One thing that really stands out to me is just the mayor has a saying, it's not enough to be right. And we were really reminded of that lesson working on the waste to energy issue. I mean, it's just not enough to be right. And there's an example of something that we made headway on, had some great meetings and education with legislators. But at the end of the day, we need to be really mindful of the fact that legislators outside of the Spokane area aren't really concerned with how fair the Climate Commitment Act is to Spokane and what it's going to cost our ratepayers when we begin paying the CCA penalties in 2027. And unlike a lot of issues that we worked on, I talked about this throughout the session, the organized opposition from very powerful interest groups in Olympia is going to continue to be a challenge for us. And again, not enough to be right. There are people and legislators that flat out would like to see our facility shut down at any cost and for the city to landfill, even if that's not better for the environment. So I think honestly, preparing for the next legislation Next legislative session starts like right now, today, and I think working through what our strategy is going to be there will be really important, because arguing it's not fair is not going to be enough. Arguing that we're going to have to pay more is not going to be enough. So interested in all of your feedback on that, and we'll hold a mini summit maybe on waste to energy strategy and invite everybody to help with that. At the end of the day, too, I also want to make sure, I mentioned this to you, Council President, earlier, we all make great contributions to the ledge agenda and to the session, but our legislators are the ones who really deliver. And this session, it wasn't just our 3rd District team, which we've been accustomed to doing great things for us, but also the 4th District, the 6th District, which has parts of the city in it now. Everybody was just very supportive of our goals and helped get our stuff over the finish line. Not 100% success, but definitely 90, 95, 99 in that range. So it's good.
Well, I'll just say North-South Corridor, yay. I am really excited about the $750,000 for the Basic Law Training Academy that we were really concerned that we would not be able to complete, even though the legislature was going to invest in the recruitment of new police officers. They go, where are you going to train them? And really, we need the best amenities we can to support that. Also, what's going on in the Coeur d'Alene playground equipment, we've been around that tree a number of times. Noise mitigation, Fish Lake Trail, really, Centennial Trail, really, the things that we got across the finish line, I'm super excited about. So thank you to our legislators. And I have to say also thank you to our lobbyists. They were amazing as well.
Sure.
A lot of positive wins, and I just really appreciate your email too. It was a very thoughtful analysis, and there's some more follow-up that I might have more related to transportation around some of the safe routes, bike ped grants. I know there was some big projects in District 2, and then happy to see some of the priority policy bills like SHREC and GMA. Those were awesome. And then as well, of course, the funding for Maddie's Place, because that was a big issue as well. And yeah, with waste to energy, I think there was a lot of lessons learned. I sometimes joke we could do the Joel Kretz method and send a landfill to Bainbridge Island. And I can say that because I had family that grew up there. But I think that there is going to be some tough conversations ahead about the impacts and where we go from here as we face this very, very looming deadline. But thank you again, Eric.
Likewise. Thank you. Anything else? No? Good?
And thanks to the
you.
legislative team, Councilmember Bingle and Councilmember Zafone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Next up, Budget Director Kate Fairborn.
I've already told Kate we will not shoot the messenger, so go for it.
Yes, thank you. Well, good afternoon, Council President, Chair Dillon, and council members. I want to thank you for the opportunity to brief the Finance Committee again. We've just gone through our 6-year forecast together, so I won't be boring you with too many numbers. And since it's the month end almost, you'll be getting your monthly update on city finances from me. So today, I have a different topic I wanted to address. I wanted to talk to you about strengthening our legislative process, specifically in our agenda review meeting today. We ended up discussing a particular piece of legislation that had no fiscal impact associated with it. And it's part of a broader trend that I've noticed in the few months that I've been here. And actually, we were just talking about how I presented to the Equity Subcommittee. And Alex and I have been talking a lot about how the Equity Subcommittee portions of the agenda sheet are rarely filled out, or they're filled out in a very cursory manner. And as part of that discussion, I said, yeah, it's interesting. The fiscal impact statement is rarely filled out. So I would just like to urge the council and your staff and each of the committees and committee chairs that nothing get on the agenda if it does not have a robust fiscal impact statement associated with it. I'm just thinking that, especially after what our CFO talked about today and what I've been telling you as part of the 6-year forecast and as part of my monthly reports to you, our current fiscal environment really is going to require us to be paying attention to every last penny. And I think those fiscal impact statements before you vote on legislation, ordinances, legislation, would help us to control our revenues and expenditures in a meaningful way. It would help us look at staffing needs. Today we got some updates from HR, but did they have a fiscal impact statement that tells you the dollar amount associated with that? No. Would that be helpful for you in deciding whether or not to pass on that? Yes. So all of our future financial obligations ultimately will come through council. They will be more meaningfully decided by you if we have fiscal impact statements. I am more than happy anytime you're considering proposed ordinances. I'm more than happy to help cost them out. They will be estimates. But I would just please respectfully urge you all, especially committee chairs and your staff, not to put things on the agenda without a meaningful fiscal analysis. Yes, Chairman.
So on that, I really think we need a uniform process that we would all abide by, whether it be council members, staff, administrator, whoever's bringing it forward, that they would go through. So the same person or entity should do the review. I think we need an actual list of what will be considered. We've talked up here, some have talked up here about, well, if we add a tool to our police officer's toolbox, what's the cost? Well, we need to have, I believe, something written out that delineates exactly what would be considered, because I will argue perhaps there is no additional cost because it's a part of the daily goings on of their job, and they're prioritizing things over other things, and we don't cost out the cost of investigating murder or something else. But others, can argue the opposite, right? And so I think we need to have a very clear set of guidelines that we're going to follow to determine what the costs are, how we reach those estimates, what is all included, and the same entity or individual, whether it's yourself or someone else, I think should be doing those analyses so that it's always consistent.
Right.
So that's what I would say. Before we start removing things from our agendas over that or equity statements or anything else, I think we need to make sure that all of those are very clearly defined, outlined, et cetera, before we start just randomly, well, this person filled it out enough, so we'll let them move forward. This person didn't fill it out enough, they cannot move forward. I don't think that should be the way we go.
Yeah, I just as an outset, I would say that anytime, like a really easy one for me, is anytime I see language that commits the city to doing something that has a cost associated with it. An old example is we have in code that the city will give a certain percentage to the arts every year. And that's just, regardless of the cities, there's no mechanism where if we're running a substantial deficit, we could not fund the arts. I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying that's an example of something where at some point a council voted that there would always be money given to something. I would, as a budget person, say to you, I would never want to have mandatory language that doesn't have some mechanism that says that in the event the city is in a deficit or has run a deficit or has not hit its reserves targets, as our budget director for this city presented this afternoon, we should not be tied to mandatory funding of things if we don't have the money. And going forward, I don't want to see legislation that we're putting out that has these mandatory spends that don't have some mechanism to be responsive to our current budgeting situation. So that's my primary concern.
And then just to respond, I think that's really good and important. I think there's probably different ways we could accomplish that, but to drill down on the actual statement of what it's going to cost us, I think there's a lot of other factors that could apply, and we just need to decide as a council, as a city, whatever, what is it that we're going to calculate? Because I could argue that anything is going to add some bit of administrative
absolutely
something, which can be
Right.
calculated out as a cost at some point in time. So we just need to know what those pieces are.
And I'll just say to that, Kate, thank you. Some of those have nothing. It's just left blank.
Yes.
Now, that's the frustration for me, whether it's the equity subcommittee or the fiscal impact. It's like, well, have they really given it serious consideration of what the benefit is or the challenges
Right.
to the city? And I agree. I do not want to encumber future councils into perpetuity to fund things that we are doing now in our current financial environment, not knowing what will be going on in 5 years or 8 years, when none of us will be sitting up here, and another group of people will be wrestling with the same challenges that we're wrestling with today because of a vote that was taken 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was that. Instead of more numbers, I gave you a relief today. So,
Thanks, Kate. Always appreciate it.
thank you.
All right, and we are going to conclude with some of our presentations from our extern and intern folks. If you want to come on up. Thank you, Danielle.
Hi, guys. If you don't know, I am a third-year law student at Gonzaga. I'm going into my last round of finals. I'm very interested in going into legislative drafting, which is why when I had an opportunity to work for City Council working in this, I jumped on it. So I started my internship last September. So mainly what I worked on, any research for ordinances. I also started doing a lot of drafting. I helped mainly with the biggest one I helped with was the LGBTQ ordinance that's going up for vote tonight. And then I also attended any meetings that Councilmember Dillon or Ginny were at. So like I mentioned, my biggest accomplishment is working on this first ordinance that will hopefully be passed tonight. And also with my first semester at City Council, I worked on a restorative justice project, which I presented to the Equity Subcommittee at the end of the year. So this was focused on ways that we could use the existing courts in our city, such as community court, to implement more restorative justice measures in our legal system. Some things that I learned a lot about ordinance and resolution drafting, as well as committee processes and intergovernmental department relations, so how each department plays a part in the legislative process. And my closing thoughts, I am very appreciative for this practical experience. I feel very confident going into any post-grad opportunities that I will have the skills necessary to do well. And then I would also like to give a special thanks to Paul and Ginny for allowing me to work with them this year. It was very educational and I really enjoyed it. And that's that. I don't know, should I take questions?
Yeah, any questions for Ginny? All right, well, just thank you so much, Ginny. It's been an honor to have you. You know, people ask where all these wacky ideas come from. It's not all you, but yeah, definitely played a part in a lot of the work that's happened. So I really appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Oh, yes, you can clap. All right, next up, William.
Good afternoon. This is my transportation internship presentation. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, so my name is William. I am from Spokane. I went to Ferris. I am currently in my last year at Eastern Washington University. I'm a data science student. But I am in my role as a transportation intern here at the council. I was interested in this internship because I am very passionate about transportation, very interested in connectivity. I wrote my senior thesis for my data science internship on modeling transportation systems and looking at bus routes, specifically the STA, using Monte Carlo simulations to model ridership. I'm actually presenting with my advisor in Denver in June at an academic conference. Some things I worked on is I worked on some canvassing issues for some traffic calming issues for the Cycle 13 projects that are coming out, specifically such as like Buckeye and Washington, going out and talking to the neighborhoods and soliciting feedback and talking to neighbors, and as well the traffic camera and traffic camera placements and frameworks, and helping determine to find a way to place these new safety measures. Some other things I've learned, just more things about transportation's issues in general, adaptive designs, the way municipal government works in general, practical applications for the way data science and data works. Some things that surprised me about the job, the number of people, just not only that work within the city, but the number of auxiliary people, support groups, the number of just community partners that there are, and then the visibility and flow of information. I think it's hard for a lot of people to picture how hard it is to see issues around the city and how important it is for people to email in concerns and call in concerns and come up here and speak and really present their issues and let it be known, because it can be hard to see everything that is happening. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Any questions for William? Well, go ahead. Oh, well, first of all, you're here this whole time. I didn't know how much you loved Talking Heads, so that's something that we have in common. But also, I guess, just with the traffic calming, project and some of the outreach you did, I mean, what were some of the big kind of lessons learned from that process?
Well, I think for me, one of the most impactful thing was that knocking on people's door, when people open the door, there is definitely this air of suspicion the first time that people opened the door and interact with me. But as soon as people found out that I was there to talk about traffic in their neighborhoods, people became excited. People want to talk about these issues. People want to make the streets safer, and they want to, sorry, I have a dry mouth, but people want to talk about these issues, and people want to make their neighborhood safer, and people want people to behave on the roads. And so I think that was how focused everyone is on this issue is something that I think really stood out to me about this.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And I want to say and take the opportunity to thank Abby. She's been a wonderful mentor, and it's meant so much to me to have her guidance.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right. Thank you. All right, Chris. Last but not least.
Yeah, hey, I'm Chris. I've been the data science intern here for the last 5 months, working under the direction of Kate. A little bit of info about me. I'm a math and data science student over at Eastern Washington, graduating this coming June, so I'm happy to be almost done here. And I'm coming from class and going to class after this, and so I've appreciated Kate and all of you being willing to work with my school schedule. So as sort of a breakdown of a lot of the sort of skills that I was using and learning on the job here, sort of the first 3 points here are kind of the big points. So one project that I'd worked on was an analysis of the photo red traffic citations. And that data set was humongous. That was almost a gigabyte of data, 700,000 lines in Excel, which is more than Excel can handle. And so being able to interact with data of that size, I largely had to be doing that in code rather than using the actual sort of software tools. A lot of the projects that I had done had regression analysis as a part of them as well, or doing some sort of causal analysis, trying to learn the trends and figure out what things are impacting the data. And then, as I said, a lot of what I was doing was in Excel using code. So Visual Basic, VBA, is the language that Excel has sort of built in, and how I can tell Excel to do things differently than what it's built in so that I can handle these large data sets. I spent a lot of time doing data visualizations. So one of my first projects was a dashboard that I had done for Alex, which was visualizing some of the demographic information for people working in City Hall, so that he could advocate for greater equity in our hiring practices. The end of nearly every project that I had done resulted in some sort of visualization of graphs or plots, and that sort of thing. And that's more of an art than a science, and so having that exposure and practice is definitely beneficial for me. And then I got to learn a lot about, I did some analysis on the general fund, and so learning about the fund structure of the city, interacting with public records, and then, I was able to do projects related to traffic, homelessness, and some financial modeling. And so the challenges that I sort of faced, those first 2 points, really being able to do that big data analysis and being able to write code in Visual Basic was challenging. There isn't an expert in Visual Basic in the office, and so having to figure out how to do that myself was definitely a valuable experience, struggling with that. Obviously, sort of effective communication, breaking down technical information for you all was a very valuable skill. Ran into some issues with data requests. That happens. Balancing multiple projects, and then understanding, the city and local government structure as well. So moving on, I'm going to be working for the County Emergency Medical Services Council as a data analyst. And so I feel like the skills from this internship directly applied there. During the interview process, I ended up doing an analysis, which was almost one-to-one, exactly something that I had been working on here at work. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to work with you all, but I'm going to be continuing to work on data and do my nerd stuff, hoping to help out the city and county using those skills as well. So, thank you for the opportunity. Please fund future data science interns.
Yeah, to that, I was just asking, can AI do what you are able to do?
I'm sorry?
Can AI do what you do? Like, can we replace you with AI?
Not today, but maybe someday. Hopefully not. I don't know.
I'll argue against that. Any questions?
I don't want to have to make a statement on AI here, but.
Well, we just want to thank you. Our council office was very excited to have 3 interns, actually 4, because we had our photographer also that contributed to us. So we're excited to invest in people. We're glad you got a job. We wish you had been with the city of Spokane, but who knows what the future holds for you and for all of our other interns. So we really wish all of you the best in your next endeavors as you go forward. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
No, you're all going to go on to do amazing things. So thank you again. All right. Any public comment? Going once, going twice, seeing none. All right. We are adjourned. We'll see you again on May 29th at 11 a.m. for a special meeting.